We're making this video to show you the updates we've made to Macs for Live devices Cold Serial and F-Harp, and to show you a new Macs for Live device, FH Monitor. Let's start with Cold Serial. If you've seen the previous video, you know that Cold Serial is a device that builds, manipulates and performs tone rows in real time. We had many comments from users and some suggestions for improvement that we've integrated into the latest version. In the row playback section, we've added a toggle button labeled octave as played. When this toggle is on, the pitch of the tone row will be played in the same octave as the triggering note from your external keyboard or MIDI clip. Previously, the pitch of the tone row was played in its original octave, or was played in an octave randomly selected by parameters set in the row playback section. Now, you have complete control of the playback octave. If you play a high note, it will play the tone row pitch in the high octave. If you play a low note, it will play back the tone row pitch in the lower octave of the trigger note. We've also added a client section under the row playback section. A client is an object whose value can be saved and recalled as part of a preset. Sometimes, you want an object value to change when a preset is selected, and sometimes you want that value change to be ignored. For example, you might want the BPM or duration values to remain the same, regardless of what preset you select. Or, you might want the BPM to abruptly change when you change presets. You can control which of these behaviors occur by clicking on the View Edit button. This displays a list of all object values that can be saved and recalled in a preset. You select the objects that you want to include in the preset functionality by setting the toggle in the first column to on. Setting the toggle to off removes that object from preset control. If you don't know which objects are which, you can open up the device in Macs and search for the object name. The settings you select in the client windows can be saved to disk and recalled for use in other Ableton sets. To do this, just click the Save button and save the file to a location that you can later recall. When you want to recall a client file, just click on the Open button and select the appropriate, previously saved file. Remember, client settings, like presets, are not saved automatically with the live set. You must save and load client and preset files separately. Those of you who attended our last meetup were introduced to F-Harp, a MIDI arpeggiator device. Some of you suggested some additional functionality that we've integrated into the device. First, we've added the ability to specify the number of voices that are played back simultaneously. You can select from between 1 and 12 voices. You can also tell the device to play a number of voices randomly selected from a number between 1 and the number of voices specified. In this case, let's select 4. To do this, toggle on the R&D button. F-Harp will now randomly select a number of voices to play together from between 1 and 4. Be careful when selecting more voices than you are inputting into your chord. This can cause notes to end abruptly. You can always see how many notes are currently being held by viewing the steps value. We've also added the ability to extend the range of the played notes. You can specify the number of octaves you wish to extend the played notes by typing in a value. Typing in 0 means that the notes will be played back exactly as they are entered or played. Selecting 1 or higher will extend the arpeggio to play notes in additional octaves as specified. Selecting negative numbers causes the arpeggio to extend down the number of specified octaves. If I play a C major triad starting on C4, watch how F-Harp extends the arpeggio into octaves I specify. We've added functionality to rhythmically play back chords. Using the Vel control menu, we can select from 2 new options. The first, Chord Vel Table, will play back an input chord in the rhythm and velocities selected or drawn in the Vel table. You can select the chord pattern from the menu, or you can draw a pattern in the Vel table. Any value greater than 0 will play the chord back at that velocity. If you select 0, no chord will be played for that step. If you select chord as played from the menu, any zeros that are in the table will be rests, and any non-zero values will be at the velocity you play in from the keyboard or the MIDI clip. Remember, you can select the number of table steps. As we did for Cold Serial, we've added client object management tools to F-Harp. Just like in Cold Serial, you can specify which objects you want to be included in presets. Just select the objects whose values you want to save with presets, and save the client text file. When you want to retrieve it in an Ableton set, Just click on Open and select the client file you want to apply. FH Monitor is a new Max for Live device that displays incoming and outgoing MIDI data in a variety of useful ways. We add FH Monitor 2 and MIDI track in the usual way. If FH Monitor is placed as the first device in a MIDI track, it will report all of the MIDI data coming from the selected MIDI from menu on the MIDI channel selected from the menu below. If it is placed after any MIDI device, it will display the data that is being produced as output from the preceding device. Let's take a look at FH Monitor's functionality. The first section on the left displays the incoming data in a text box according to the settings you choose. First, you select what format you want the data to be displayed in. You can choose decimal, hexadecimal, or verbose. Decimal and hexadecimal display the incoming raw MIDI data stream as numbers in base 10 and base 16 respectively. Selecting verbose displays the data as a text descriptor of the status byte, followed by the value. You can save the text output as a text file by clicking on the Save button. You can clear the text display manually at any time by clicking the Clear button. You can tell the display to clear its contents automatically by clicking on Auto Clear and selecting a number of events to set the display's limits. After the specified number of events have been displayed, the text area will clear itself and start displaying the new data at the beginning. The count of events is kept and displayed for you. By default, the text area is editable. That means you can add, edit, or delete any of the displayed information. You can also select to lock the display data. This prevents you from inadvertently adding, editing, or deleting the original data. The incoming note data is also displayed on the keyboard. The keyboard, in addition to displaying incoming note pitch data, can also generate MIDI data to send to the device's output. To do this, first click on the KBD out toggle, then play the keyboard with your mouse. Toggling on the MIDI through button passes any incoming MIDI data to the output of the device. The current incoming MIDI data is also displayed in a user-friendly format that separates the different types of events. This section displays the last input event under its column header type. You can see notes, controllers, program changes, poly and channel aftertouch, and pitch bend data parsed and displayed. Note that pitches are displayed as both note names and MIDI note numbers. The green histogram table tracks the values of selected events across time. Select the event type you want to track from the menu, and watch the values display from left to right. Finally, you can see the incoming note data displayed as musical notation on the grand staff at the far right. That sums up the new devices and updates to older devices. We hope that you are enjoying these devices and learning about the cool functionality that Max brings to Ableton. If you have any suggestions, questions, requests, or comments, please share it with the group through the Facebook page.